Texas Governor Rick Perry joins us now from nearby Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Governor, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Chris?
With all due respect, what were you thinking last night, Governor?
I think I made an error last night. I stepped in it, is what my wife would have said, and she was correct. So all of us make mistakes, and I'm a human being. And the issue here is that I had a lapse in memory, and so many federal agents out there were coming to mind that I forgot the one I was trying to think of, which is obviously the Energy Department.
Yeah, and on a serious note here, because it's understandable that you would try to laugh something like this off, but many people would argue running for president is no laughing matter. And last night you just didn't look, in some people's eyes, very presidential. Is that fair to say?
Well, every day I get up and try to lay out a vision for America. When we talk about what's important for Americans, as the governor of Texas for the last decade, creating jobs is what's on people's minds. That's the seriousness of the issue. And I readily admit I may not be the best debater or the smoothest politician on that stage. But what I am is an individual of substance when it comes to creating an environment where jobs can be, in fact, the focus of the entrepreneur class out there that are creating those jobs that Americans really need right now. So we can talk about style over substance all we want, but Americans are looking for someone that will truly give them hope that we can get this country back working again. It's the reason I laid out a flat tax plan this last week of 20% flat tax, given those deductions for home mortgages, for charitable contributions, for their local taxes. 20% of that, send it in on a postcard and be done with it. End the IRS as we know it today.
But Governor,
that's what Americans are looking for.
But Governor, you can have all the great ideas in the world, but I think you'll be the first to admit it's the impression that you make on people. And like you said, you're a little bit more substance over style. Doesn't your performance in these debates matter? As a new Quinnipiac poll out this morning in 3 key primary states in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida have you running at 5% right now. And these mistakes during these debates, they keep adding up.
Well, we're going to get up every day and go do our job, which is to take our message to the people of this country. That's the most important thing that's on my radar screen. And if anyone's looking for the perfect candidate, I may not be it, but I'm pretty sure the perfect candidate's not made. But people make mistakes. I'm human. I understand that. But again, getting back to the seriousness of what's facing America and laying out a plan that balances our budget by 2020. I'm the only candidate that's laid out a plan. I get up every day with my major goal is to share with Americans how to make Washington, D.C. as inconsequential in their lives as I can make it. And as a matter of fact, they can go to my website today at rickperry.org and they can pick out the federal agency that they would most likely or like to forget about.
Yeah, and Governor, I give you all the credit in the world for trying to kind of divert me here, but I have to kind of go, I've got to go back to last night. These are some quotes I just want to read you from some Republican strategists. It was a political death knell. It was the human equivalent of the shuttle Challenger. When you were on stage last night during this miscue, did you realize how big a mistake it was?
Well, listen, anytime you're standing up in front of however many million people we were and you have a loss of train of thought, sure, I mean, it impacts you. But the fact is, one error is not going to make or break a campaign. So we're going to keep talking about what's important to the people of this country, and that's the substance of how to get Americans back working again. One
final question for you. Your aides have talked about you possibly scaling back your participation in future debates. After last night's performance, do you feel the need to jump right in? And again, we'll plug ourselves here on CBS this coming Saturday night. Will you be there for that debate? And do you plan on continuing to appear at these debates, or are you going to scale back?
I'll be in South Carolina on Saturday night. I don't have any idea what my schedule is past that.
All right, Governor, thank you very much for taking the time. We do appreciate it. We know it's going to be a rough day, to say the least, for you, but we appreciate you facing the music here this morning. Governor Rick Perry, thank you.
Absolutely.